From D-Day and the bombing of Hiroshima to the invasion of Poland and the custody battle for Midway games, no war in human history has come close to leaving the mark on our civilization the way World War II did. But as those who saw the horrors of Nazi Germany for themselves fade away, we turn to video games to keep their memories alive. Can you beat Call of Duty World War II without taking any damage? First and foremost, I just gotta say Sledgehammer can go f themselves for removing the option to disable the in-game music in World War II. I want to take in the ambiance of the world they've made, not have my ego's backstroked by triumphant music every time I successfully reload my gun. Now that that's out of the way, let me introduce you to our team. There's Boone, Donald, Styles with the sweet frames, I'm Daniels, Pierson is the hard-ass with a heart of gold, and the real war begins with the landing at Normandy. Nobody on the boat seemed to have any idea what was in store for us, and neither did I. Most of you watching this probably weren't alive back in the 1940s, so I'll explain the situation. The Germans have eyes up in the hills and are using the tactical advantage of height to their advantage. Damage comes from 60% of all directions unless you're hunkered down behind a pretty thick, sturdy piece of cover. This isn't a PS3 game where you could pull a sneaky, go prone, and crab walk across the beach to the seawall without being shot because the AI is so bad. It is, but that's not what's important here. If you're making any kind of a run for it, which you are, always, from the moment you touch down until V-Day, damage can seemingly come from anywhere. Making the run from cover to cover sometimes brought damage, sometimes it didn't. No way to tell if it happens until it happens, and you can't kill the machine gunners while you're on the beach. That would be ridiculous. 10 minutes in, stunned by everyone else's inability to let me win, I hunkered down behind a dead tank and waited for help that would have a better chance of reaching my skeleton in a week than the person surrounding that skeleton right now. Like most Calls of Duty, following the arrow on screen will guide you to the credits at the end of the game, but most games don't take someone like me into consideration. If this mission had a vehicle segment, it would have been the worst level in any game I've played for a challenge since I attempted Super Monkey Ball 2 without collecting any bananas. But this level isn't too bad compared to everything else. It is the first level after all, and each level's got some form of hell to endure. On-rail sections with vehicles, tank battles, dogfights, infiltration missions, the worst invisible walls you've never seen. I had a lot of fun with this game when it was a Call of Duty game. In the time spent on the beach, I made it to the seawall a grand total of 3 times. The first time was a goofy move. I was merely sticking my big toes in the water. The second time, I wasn't sure if the damage was scripted or not, so I reloaded a save just to be safe. Number 3, an hour in, having died at least 100 times, I slammed into the earth like it owed me money, blew open the entrance to parts unknown, and could finally get into combat. Despite everything I've said about how difficult it was to get past the first quarter of the first mission, enemies are generally either unfairly accurate or borderline blind. But everyone was back in those days, even me. That's why I disabled aim assist while playing on console. Did that make it harder? Oh, yeah, it did. Was it worth it? Unlikely. It could have helped immensely when dealing with these 2 turrets. My initial, gut instinct ideas never ended very well. A friendly with a candle was the first victim of team killing as we pushed through the 4th bunker. I'm a little ashamed to say that I died to this quick time event a couple times. I think multiple timelines ending was worth it. There was no big, "we got him" celebration after I died, like there will be in real life. It's like there are hints of realism here and there, but the entire world is drawn in crayon, so those hints are hard to find. Zussman got his second belly button back in the last bunker. I gave him a smaller, 3rd one in his thigh, and I went with Lieutenant Timmy to take out the Lord's Army. That joke was brought to you by the children's Christian song I'm in the Lord's Army that has a line about artillery. Just as those pesky Nazis are usually outsmarted by 5-letter words, my teammates, during gameplay, are only occasionally more than walking ammo boxes, and thanks to this game being almost 80 years old, weapons and accessories are about as basic as they come. Outside of sniper rifles, getting a gun with a sight is a rare sight indeed, and instead of being a one-man army with bottomless pockets, immortal teammates who you're with a lot of the time fill old roles. They can refill your ammo, grenades, smoke grenades, mark enemies, and even let you call in an airstrike. The only problem is that this is a Call of Duty game. It's pretty janky to work with. In a normal playthrough, taking a couple hits to refill your ammo is acceptable. Here it is not. Sometimes they just ignore you. Sometimes you gotta be screaming right in their f***ing face. I used their abilities, just not often. Millions of guns were left homeless after the war. The odds of running out of ammo are relatively slim. With the artillery destroyed and Zuckman's artillery still intact, Pierson gave me the piss eye, and it's on to Mission 2, Operation Cobra. Weeks have passed. The tank mission is now. Pierson, that guy we hated for being himself, got a bunch of innocent soldiers off a while back. but we only know the side of the survivors. We've got tanks and other party favors for the French, and we were well on our way to deliver them when one of our tanks had an accident, forcing us to search the farmhouse for replacement tires. I got to sit in the big bucket. That was a cool moment. What wasn't cool was using the AA gun. This is where the biggest decision in anyone's life had to be made. Does damage taken here count? That might seem like a dumb question, because my health bar is depleting, but is it mine? It's yellow to be sure, but I'm only yellow on Discord and when my liver finds me. This happens in every Call of Duty. You reach some point where you're in some vehicle, aiming speed is limited, and enemies are coming from multiple directions. There's not much you can do here to not take damage. However, with a sniper rifle, you can do a whole lot. Modern Call of Duty games have added this mechanic that slows down time as you hold your breath, and in a run like this, the ability to turn everything into a slug is game-changing. The town is almost ours. We retake the church, and we win. I don't know what happened in there. I survived something bad, and the rest was a blur. Drivers can't be injured. That's why I'm skipping the driving part and jumping to when I've got the gun. Remember when I said damage taken in a vehicle doesn't count? Well, I've changed my mind. Vehicle damage counts now and forever for the rest of World War II. Sometimes. They say perception is 9/10 of reality, but my perception's pretty f***ed up, so I don't know what to tell you. Going damageless felt possible with a few Jeeps, but not with all these guys in all the buildings. Too many people to kill without being hit. It's too late to press on tonight. Mission 3 will have to be postponed until tomorrow. In my dream, Big Brother Paul nearly got mauled to death by a wolf, but Pauls don't go down easy. Outside the dream, we're still in town. What I said about the church was a misrepresentation of the facts. I thought that shed warehouse-looking building was the church. This building that looks more like a church is the church. Just want to point out again that aim assist is still off. It's weird to look back on this and realize how much of a mistake it was to disable that. Danny Aiello's got air grenades in stock, but he wouldn't share them or I wasn't asking nicely enough. I guess him having grenades and me thinking I sure would like to have some of those grenades wasn't enough for him. Once I got my shit together, I almost rescued this guy, called in an aerial bombardment, defended the position from all sorts of wacky characters, got inside the church, and got real mad real fast. There's an ambush, but it can only be triggered by you. Teammates can walk down the aisle hand in hand and the machine guns won't spark or do nothing, but when I pop my head out for a second, the entire nest lights up. And then the clown with the funny flower prank shows up. Zussman and friend got the short end of the stick, while the three amigos and me climbed the tower to provide covering fire. Anyone who saw that there were snipers in the tower didn't live long enough to do anything about it. The tower collapsed. I got my bell rung, failed to lift the Lincoln log off my kneecaps. The entire tower fell down around us, and we made our final stand while praying for help to arrive. I managed to survive up until they started pushing on our position in force. Pierson recommended I use the old flamethrower. I tried it, smelled funny, didn't use it again. At no point, using any combination of weapons or strategies, did I come close to surviving their entire onslaught. I couldn't do it. Luckily, this one time, I didn't have to. Delta Squad had my back while I sat in the corner with the time gun. I called in an airstrike to end my life, saved Zussman, and with France safe, we were off to rescue Paris with the help of 2 European soldiers. There's a German train on the way, and we can sabotage it using the most basic and unsatisfying stealth gameplay you'd expect from a Call of Duty game. Stabbing someone in the throat with a dagger feels like you're taking a mechanical pencil and pretending to stab someone with it. Somewhere along the way I blew our cover, or so I thought. According to the internet, being discovered is scripted. Kinda makes me wonder what else in my life is scripted. Those of you who left a comment, what did you think your comment was gonna be before you had the idea to leave one? Answer me that in the comments below. Anyway, I once again proved that I'm immortal. The chase was on, again, and for absolutely no reason other than gameplay purposes, I got out of the driver's seat and hopped on the gun, instead of the suck doing it. I gave it a solid number of attempts before accepting the damage taken, but even I have my limits. This cutscene made me mad. I'm not even gonna say what happens in it. You know how there's that one mission in every Call of Duty game where you're fighting all around the big destroyed vehicle? That's where we are now. All of that, all of this destruction, all of it for a slice of paper, detailing a mission in Paris that I volunteered myself for by looking at the paper. Rousseau and Crowley, guess who they are, will be infiltrating the German-occupied Paris, while the Americans blow up. The twist is I'm playing as Gerda Schneider, who is really an expertly disguised Private Daniels. I was like sneaking around trying not to be detected. I assumed as a woman guest in the 1940s in this part of town I wouldn't be able to stumble into a room and listen in on a conversation. At the very least, I assumed that if I walked into the wrong room I'd be detained and the mission would fail. Did you notice how that guy in the corner seemed like he was watching me? He wasn't. It's just a looping animation. My secret contact inside is a man in gray. I just walked into people until something happened. After successfully recalling the secret passphrase from a list of possible phrases, Bratwurst took me to the back room, filled me in on the plan. I walked up to the 3rd floor and stumbled into Heinrich the Snowman. Backstory stuff says this guy killed the current player character's family. So that's what's going on. Of all the deaths I've seen in the games I've played, the idea of this bottle with its entire circumference being in my neck, Swiss cheesing my throat, is the one that haunts me. Back outside, I gotta plant the charges on the north and south gate to allow the other me inside the Germans' French headquarters. Not gonna spend too much time on anything here. Getting detected alerts everyone and kicks shit off, so I avoided that and can prove it with this achievement. Real game time. We're down on the streets, getting our hands dirty. Smoke grenades block off foreign line of sight real good. They're worth saving if you're a dumb who doesn't use the free grenade button the game gives you. War crimes are not allowed if you were curious. Deeper into the city, I got a shotgun from Crowley. They're a rare find in these ages. Used it to blast through the hotel and had to defend the hotel from all harm. You can sit up by the hole in the wall with a sniper rifle and Molotovs and defend your position that way. Or you can sit in the back window with the broken machine gun and not take damage because bullets don't hit you. The day was won. Victory for us. Enjoy this moment. Savor it. The single worst mission in any challenge I've ever done is up next. Collateral damage is a great name for it. Fits real well. This is the tank level. It's gonna be hard for me to talk about this one without getting emotional. I will openly admit that I'm not great at driving tanks in games. I can do it in Halo, but I avoid driving tanks in Battlefield for a reason, and no matter how many times I tell World of Tanks to f*** off, they won't stop emailing me. There are 3 sections, each drastically worse than the last. There's also an element of randomness at play here. Sometimes I'd take damage from a rogue rocket a couple seconds after I spawned, and a lot of the time it seemed like my shot should have killed someone who was right next to it, but that problem will come back in a moment. From the point of getting this checkpoint for the first time until I got the next one, about 45 minutes had passed. The next chapter of this nightmare is tank battles. I promised them, and they've arrived. The first one was a little frustrating due to tanky controls. The left analog stick always has to be pointing in the direction you want to go, but the game also decided to add some realism, so you've got to account for where the front of the tank is at all times. And that first tank is gone. Now there are 2 tanks and a small group of soldiers, and I'm right between both tanks, and they can't be damaged from the front, only the sides, and I swear to God the majority of my shots were on the money. Also, it didn't hurt that the Kool-Aid tank can't be damaged for a couple seconds after it comes out of the wall, so it's not like you can take advantage of being stuck between a rock and a hard place by landing a shot early. No, no, no. That, you dumb asshole. I quit the game and bought Spider-Man. Then, I started the Outer Worlds, intending to do a no damage run because the PS5's got an SSD, but it's also a PlayStation, so it has that stupid extra step when loading a save for any game. So it was back to the mines for me. This is where it gets worse. See, I knew there was no chance I could ever get through this without being shot. I accepted that when I accepted Jesus to win that free PSP I haven't gotten yet. I just wanted to tell Activision tanks for nothing and get out of this fucking mission. Damage is allowed, anything is allowed. If I could have downloaded a save to skip this mission, I would have. 30 minutes, on the easiest difficulty later, 2 tanks were destroyed. I ignored any damage I received in the tank, and of course, at the big final battle where the lives of our squad are on the line, I didn't get hit one time. You can find videos on YouTube of people doing the tank part of this mission in under 8 minutes on Veteran. Took me almost 2 hours just to do it. Back in the boots I belong in, the tanks are holding their positions at the hotel so we can flank the other side. Compared to what all that nonsense was, the remainder of this mission, the majority of it really, was pretty easy. A nice, standard World War II shooter experience. Except for when I fired a rocket launcher at a wall, indoors, and missed. I'd love to know what happened there. I had a couple resets inside this destroyed apartment building. This guy teabagged me for no reason. I hid in the bathroom for a little while. That didn't work out. Eventually, I won that skirmish and did unspeakable things to the Nazis with a shotgun. As expected, this mission didn't go as planned. Instead of retaking the hotel and moving on, we're rescuing all the civilians in the basement. The one who knows English left her sister in the basement. The odds of that happening are only as good as the kid appearing on the last door you open. Just before I could interject in the argument to add my unwanted opinions, the bastard sent German retrievers after us. A couple bullets stuck into Big Sister, Pierson took matters into his own hands, and we're on to a much more promising mission. Despite the silly name, this was among the easier levels. There wasn't any one specific objective in this one that was brutally difficult. We're on a path to the Rhine now. That's where we finish this. For now, we're securing the bridge and defending it. I planted mines all over the field as well as on the bridge itself just to be safe. If one mine goes, it'll trigger all the bridge mines to ensure the entire squad dies together. I blew up a tank with a rocket launcher and saved a few of the mines to toss down into the mortar team. It was more efficient than using a gun. I ran through the jungle, got hit with a mortar shell, took a tumble. The ghost of Paul's past came to offer me wisdom in my hour of need, and I returned to the woods in search of anyone who was alive and not German. A flamethrower torched a few of our guys right as I was in earshot. I wanted to save them both, but I was never quick enough to make it over the hedge and take out the flamer before he lit them up. I found Turner outside Dragon's Teeth according to the achievement I got, smoked up the ozone to make it by the sniper, John Wicked my way through the base of this tower, eliminated the sniper with a grenade, found myself at Call of Duty 4's multiplayer maps, and reunited with whoever was still alive to defend the most important bridge in the county. I survived with no injuries or scars that are visible, remembered right after the Germans started falling back that I had a sniper, and we held the position all the way through the end of the 7th mission and into the beginning of the 8th. Hill 493 is referred to by some as the hardest mission in the entire history of World War II games released in 2017. It's a little hard to spot, but if you look real close you can see the everything about this that was awful. With aim assist, sitting back with the comrades would work. Without it, I had to throw a Voltorb at the group a bit up the hill to use their rock formation as cover. That maneuver got me a checkpoint in no man's land. Farther on up the road, Pierson, who is now losing his mind, dictated that Private Parker is to plant the explosive stick on the bunker. This is a special bunker though. Unlike almost all other MG-42 nests, the gunner cannot be killed. The best you can do is stun him for a few seconds by landing 24 shots on the 6 cubic millimeter target hidden up the gunner's ass from countless meters away. As a private, he's not smart enough to think for himself. I had to tell him when it was clear. About halfway up the hill, another swarm of Nazis hit our position. In my 30 minutes of testing for research purposes, I found that the best method for getting Parker to his hole is damn near constant fire on the gunner while staying up Parker's ass. Once we got him within striking distance, I laid down a smoking cried while Parker blew himself straight into the credits. Pierce and Turner butted heads, and the Germans finally learned how to use confetti in their shotguns. Neat to look at, a technical marvel to be sure, but hilarious to be on the receiving end of. Unlike the final defense of the AA guns were in the middle of stealing. I got so caught up in my own hype after watching one Mitten wipe out an entire squad all by himself. I assumed I was inconceivable until the tank showed up alongside the brothers of everyone I just killed. Let me run you through every tactic I tried. Run to the left and take on 15 guys. You die. Go prone and hope it all goes away. You die. Lob grenades into the unknown from cover. You die. Try to run away. You die. Throw a smoke down as a distraction. You die. Start the cutscene of planting the thermite on the tank. You die. Make the mistake of looking the wrong way and you die. Having no other options left, I resorted to asking for grenades from Turner. Made no man's land look like a Halloween party. Boarded the tank and exploded the without taking damage. Turner was hit. The Germans have no idea what they'd just done. Pierson revealed that he was the tank all along, promoted me to corporal, and we're on to the Battle of the Bulge. For those of you who don't know history because you went to school in America like I did, the Battle of the Bulge was one of the deadliest battles in the entire war. More than 150,000 people were injured or killed. It's Christmas now, and my present is a sniper rifle. Lovely scenery, and the official failing of this challenge. Mortars and whatnot are locked in our position. There is no safety anywhere, and it's not people firing guns, so you can't predict where the mortars are gonna hit. If you ride Zuckman's bumper, you can avoid most of the damage. I took a couple shots, it didn't bother me none. Corporal Howard performed CPR on the emergency radio to call in air support, and this one's all me. I didn't spend too much time here, mainly due to there not being a single thing about this that I liked. All the planes flying forward unwaveringly makes it feel fake as hell. I'm worse at flying planes than I am at driving tanks. This was the only flying segment in the entire game, and I hated every second of it. Back on the ground, we're back in time to back when air support was just called in. Those were the days. But what I haven't told you yet is that this is the penultimate mission. The time had come for me to put my educated feet to good use by calling in airstrike after airstrike after airstrike to decommission a triplet of German tanks. Got knocked on my ass by the very airstrikes I called in, and got my numbers mixed up. What I just did was mission 9. There are 12 in total. Don't panic, mission 10 may be called ambush, but it's not so bad. A scuffle over liquid turned out to be the biggest turning point in this campaign. The Germans' Mother Goose laid plans to blow up a bridge, but this time we get to be the ambush. We had the surprise, we had the guns. I saved the first and last person I'd ever save in my life. Team killed on accident moments later, climbed into the back of the enemy truck, tried to get myself ran over, and infiltrated the airbase. Surprising absolutely nobody, because I've already told you how stealth goes in Call of Duty game. We can move on to me tripping and falling out of a building, getting mistaken for an elderly, and going to rescue my Zussman. With no gunner or way to attack, damage is once more unable to be avoided. Despite some effort on my part, Big Z got taken away. I even tried to save him with a bullet, but couldn't land the shot. By the fire in the moonlight, Pierson revealed his true feelings for me. Davis did the big reveal about the antagonist. I got a medal for retrieving the piece of paper in that last cutscene, headed home, and did not beat Call of Duty World War II without taking any damage. All that's left to do now is play the epilogue to see how all these stories are wrapped up. They didn't make it. Playtime is over. We're taking the Rhine and taking the fight to the Heartland. Honestly, an unremarkable mission to end this playthrough on, though my opinion on this campaign did continue to get lower and lower all the way to the bitter end. Across the bridge and down in the trenches, beginner's luck slapped me hard. The first time I rinsed through everything I came across. Then I died and struggled to get that far again. Failed at using the air cannon that my parents would never buy me as a kid, and right at the very end, in the final push, a fire-breathing shotgun fell into my arms. This gun is the reason I don't want kids. All this hype and it's such a letdown. The bridge was won. We did it. We won. World War II is over, but every victory has its price. Paul died 7 years before the war began. We found Zussman out in the woods, moment before he was about to get executed. Everyone said their goodbyes, and I still did not beat this game without taking any damage. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything, leave a like. Leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy the video or didn't learn anything. Thanks to the Champion tier supporters as well as other channel members for making videos like this one possible. Join the Mitten Squad Discord server by going to mitten.land. Follow me on Twitter @Mitten Squad. My name is Paul of Mitten Squad. Have a wonderful day.